with the TLC, the Test and Learn community. The community was, oh, there we go. The community was started, Gary, about, was it 5, 6 years ago after an exchange conference. Gary actually gets the credit for naming it because he's cheesy, but that's okay. We know we wanted a community, and he's like, how about Test and Learn community, the TLC? And it stuck. We started out as a telehuddle. It was just a monthly telephone conversation after a conference just like this, the Exchange, which Gary founded, where we, didn't want to finish our huddle conversation in the room. We wanted to continue talking. So we passed our phone numbers and email addresses, and we stayed in touch. It started out as a group of about 17 people and didn't grow a whole lot until last couple of years. In the last 2 years, we've gone from about 25 members to over 500. We have a very active Slack community where most of the folks on this stage participate, as well as the rest of the community. But what's really great about it is we have one rule, and it's not the Fight Club rule. In fact, we want you to tell people about it. It's no sales at all. So there's no sales or solicitation. It's practitioners talking to practitioners, experts willing and able to answer questions, and everybody's there to help everybody grow and learn. Primary conversation focus are around experimentation, personalization, testing. Obviously, it's the Test and Learn community, but we also have tons of folks in the analytics space, both traditional and digital. So everybody's welcome. Come join. It's really easy. Everybody here will get an invite. If just those of you who aren't members, all you got to do is read and sign a code of conduct. So really quickly, just raise of hand, who is already a TLC member? Awesome. Thank you guys for being here. Welcome to all the new members that don't know your members yet. You will be. We have these monthly conversations. Now we've transformed from a phone call to a Zoom virtual session. It's a panel just like this, and we pick a topic related to optimization or analytics, and we invite smart people willing to share, and we just talk for about an hour. And we record it all, and it all goes on YouTube, which brings me to point number 2. There's a camera. We're at the Digital Analytics Hub where we never record anything. We're making an exception because the TLC, everything's recorded and lives on YouTube. There's Melanie, if you'll raise your hand. Melanie has a mic. She's going to be walking around. If anybody has questions you want to ask of our panel, just raise your hand. She'll come to you and bring the mic. Don't say anything in that mic. You don't want to live on YouTube. Everybody got it? Awesome. All right, so let's get started. First of all, thank you guys. I really, really appreciate you coming. I really appreciate you all volunteering or voluntolding to be up here. And as a reminder to you guys and to everybody here, we're here to have fun. So hopefully we'll learn a little, but also have fun along the way. So I want to start with a kind of a little bit of a softball for you. But I want you all to think in your roles in the industry and how you have the experiences that you've had. What do you think your view is of what the best analysts are made up of? Are they business people first, with technical and analyst skills second, or is it vice versa? And do you think your hiring practices reflect that? Rusty, I want you to start.
All right. It's a great question. I think it's changed for me. I think the situation dictates sort of the maturity of the organization, where your focus is at any given time. Certainly 3 years ago, maybe the focus was let's get the right tool stack in, let's get it implemented in a way that's going to be designed for the future, and let's start building out the people organization. And so for that phase, it felt like a very technical analyst was what I wanted to solve those problems. I think after you move out of that, it's more advocacy and community of practice around the tool set that you've put in place, and I think that's probably where we live in most organizations today. So I lean a little bit more on the business side, being able to know what the capabilities are here, how it extends to the context of the business problems uniquely across the enterprise, and how to convey that and inspire people to want to mature into that space and take advantage of what's available to them today. So I think that's the space we're in today. I think there's a future that may be even more pure analyst coming, but I think that's the spot we're in today.
What about you, Paula?
So can y'all hear me? I agree. I think I would say business first for two reasons. One, we talked about it in your huddle earlier, is context. I think it's nearly impossible to be a great analyst without context and truly understanding the business and who your customers are. And I think the other reason is that many analysts I know have a hard time with failure, and I think that failure is truly important when we're thinking about what's the right thing for customers, and we have to be comfortable with
Absolutely.
testing and learning. And
Yeah.
learning equals failure, and
Yes.
so I think that muscle is just a little bit stronger typically with folks with a little more of a business background and less of the analytics mindset. Is that fair?
Matt?
It won't bite.
Thanks for having me, Kelly.
Yeah.
Yeah, I agree with Rusty and Paula, but I guess just more generally, I think someone who's going to be an analyst, mostly I would look for curiosity and the capacity for abstraction, to be able to abstract and be able to be an analyst, which means sort of decompose a complex problem into its more simple parts. So whether or not they're stronger on business or the analytics side, I guess, will really be a function of the context.
That makes sense. Do you have a different perspective, Anthony, from the technical side? For those of you who don't know, Anthony works with the Walmart Lab experimentation engine platform.
Yeah, so from the engineering side, never having had to hire an analyst or think about that, that's an interesting question. I think the business context is important. And the reason I say that is because from the engineering side, and having built an A/B testing platform and having pretended to be an analyst by looking at the data, it's very easy to just generate numbers and say, hey, look at this. This means this, right? And it really doesn't. So I think, really understanding the business and how to interpret those numbers correctly in the context of what you're looking at is important.
What do you think, Gary? And has your view changed over the years?
I guess what I would say is, I think there's a difference between understanding the business and being good at business. I don't expect most analysts to be good at business. I'm not. I mean, most of us suck at business. That's why we're doing analytics, right? I mean, so I think from that perspective, it's nice for analysts to have some exposure to the business, and they really do have to have an understanding. I expect an analyst in some ways to understand the business better than a business person, but that doesn't mean I think they're a good business person. And that's, for me, a fairly fundamental distinction. I don't want an analyst who wants to be a middle manager. I want an analyst who wants to be an analyst. And so I think of it very much as a profession. You know, I think if you're an accountant, you have to understand business, but you damn well better be a good accountant first. And I think for analysts, it's the same. We have a big technical skill set that we need to learn, that we need to be able to deliver. And so I kind of still look for analyst skills. You know, I want them to understand the business, but I don't want them to have, actually don't want them to have too many business aspirations, I guess, as I think it through. Yeah.
Interesting. Quite the spectrum over here.